Goblet of the Truth Index by Dr. Ron Pleune, drpleune@gmail.com.
Counsel, how it happens. See also Change, Guidance, Psychologist, Psychiatrist, Chapter 23, lines 168 to 176.
However, always be conscious that you are left up to yourselves in all these things and endeavors of the inner developmental change. Because if you are serious about your inner developmental change, as well as all the things that are connected with it, then truly in this process of the serious inner developmental change, the status is given that you are actually alone with yourselves as human beings. In the process of your inner developmental change, you cannot expect help from any god or tin god, or from any human being, or from anything else. Because apart from yourselves, there is nothing that could carry out your inner change. However, you consciously carry out your inner developmental change through your energy and power, then you will no longer expect help from outside, from anyone, from any god, tin god, angel, saint or demon, or from the deceased. Because in the conscious developmental change that you bring about in yourselves, you are already free in yourselves and are able to see what your developmental change brings you in terms of that which is good, better and positive. And consider, when you are free in yourselves, that there is also great energy and power in you, besides the fact that nothing else can be done wrong with regard to the developmental change of the inner nature. And once there is freedom in you, then this has nothing to do with a defense, but rather with you being able to act rightly and freely henceforth according to your own discretion, precisely because you are free in yourselves and act out of the center of your changed inner nature, and therefore you no longer have any anxiety and fear, but are henceforth capable of creating true love in yourselves and also living it out in yourselves to your fellow human beings. Because when you have true love in you, then you can do in the right and the good what you want. And if you have created true love in yourselves, then out of this the process arises that you get to know yourselves and that you go in self-cognition in yourselves, which however in turn only happens through yourselves, but not through psychologists or psychiatrists, and not either through any other analysts, through philosophers or those who arrogantly assume that they can be of assistance to you in the self-cognition, although they are not capable of this. Therefore, you truthfully do not learn anything through them, and you cannot learn anything about yourself, but basically only about the one who wants to be helpful to you in the self-cognition. Truly, what your fellow human beings such as psychologists and philosophers, etc. can teach you is not what you are in yourselves, in your inner nature, that is to say in your individuality. Rather, they can only teach you your characteristics, your peculiarities that proceed out of your inner nature, but not however the individuality, the specialness and uniqueness which go very far beyond the characteristics and are connected to the innermost part of the inner nature, which is of pure spiritual nature and belongs to the realm of the spirit form, in which the true love and the life are guided from out of the creational laws and recommendations. Therefore, self-cognition is not the same as self-cognition, and individuality is not the same as individuality, because truthfully both things must be separated in themselves. Indeed, on the one side in the material realm which is outwardly expressed in you human beings, and that realm which only acts in the inner, so therefore it is necessary to speak of a material and outwardly directed self-cognition and individuality, and on the other side of an inner one which really only acts through the power of the spirit form in the inner of the nature, and must be laboriously fathomed out in order to let it have an effect in the exterior. Material self-cognition and individuality, fragment by fragment, gradually over the course of the life, as a result of which your being human in the real and true sense evolves over time. It is only through inner self-cognition, which must be fathomed in the core of your inner nature, that you experience and learn what you actually are in the inner of your own self, which is connected with the spirit realm, whereas that which is around the core corresponds to that part of the inner nature which is lived as individuality towards the outside, and reflects the material character and the personality, out of which the behavior and the actions and effort are also determined. In the entire process, you must also look at and consider and bring forth a revolution of the consciousness, its thoughts as well as their feelings and the thereout resulting psyche structure, which may no longer be dependent on an external authority. However, This process involves great difficulties because what is important in the revolutionizing of the consciousness, thoughts, feelings in the psyche, that is to say, the entire mental block is repudiating your own inner and demolished authority in which are anchored all your unimportant perceptions, cognitions, cognizances, your pseudo-knowledge, your practical experiences and the living of those experiences as well as all your views, ideas and ideals. Truly, during your lifetime, you had things, happenings and experiences that have taught you something, but you have raised up all that which you have learned to a new authority in you, by which you are ruled and which has just as great a destructive effect in you as an authority which is already thousands of years old.